Greetings, everybody. This is Racecar, and I'm just letting you guys know what I'm going to be doing for this channel for the rest of this month and for the rest of the year, more or less. So anyway, immediately you'll probably have noticed that my latest video, which was the NASCAR flashback thing, part 6 of that got it. You'll notice that was taken down and then re-uploaded. Well, the reason for that is there was an editing error that I made, particularly with the senior transitions, and I had published that, well, I rendered it, got finished, noticed the mistake, went in, fixed it, and I didn't watch it again because I thought, I noticed it was there again. So I went back, I fixed it, and this time I uploaded it to YouTube, which was obviously 2 days ago, and I recently had noticed now the error was happening somewhere else. So I had to go back to that and then refix it again. And this time I actually watched it and made sure that there was no more of that before I uploaded it. So that's why that got taken down. It wasn't anything bad. It was just error. Anyway, so that's up. And obviously tomorrow I'm going to be putting up part 7 of that series. And I'm going to end that Friday, by Friday being August 25th. I'm going to put that up. Jeez, I can't talk right now. I'm going to post that up Friday, probably Friday afternoon, or anyway, I'll be up by then. I'll pretty much be the end of that, because I don't have NASCAR 2015, nor do I have NASCAR Heat Evolution, so that's pretty much going to be it. And that was pretty much all the games I had, anyway, prior to either of those coming out. So anyway, so that's the place for that. Also, though, is that I'm also going to be that weekend finally putting up part 1 of my F1 season series. And I know I've been promising that repeatedly. I just never got around to start, getting the career mode and, doing it and recording the footage and all that stuff. I finally have, and I can finally start on it now that I've got something to edit. So we're going to start, I'll post it up Saturday. And the plan is to try to get this done by early October. So which means I'm going to be posting up probably 2 to 3 videos a week. And then, as I'll have that by October, and then start the 2015 season right on afterwards, because they'll be on the same game, so not much preparation time necessary. I'll do it on there, and then upload it. I'm actually going to go from, I want to say, late October to probably late December, just in time for New Year's, or Christmas. Anyway, and then for the 2016 season, probably we'll start that about mid-January, and then probably in that early April. And finally on that for 2017, because again I'm so behind. We're going to probably start that early May, and then try to have that done by, I want to say, early August. And early August being the focus here, because that's going to be when the F1 game, when yet another F1 game comes out. So, obviously that's going to be the ideal part of it. Now, as for my Project Cars career mode that I said I was going to do, I decided to not do it. And the reason, there's 2 reasons for that. One was, well, here's the thing. Before, Project Cars was the only sort of game I had, of its kind for the PlayStation 4. So, it was the only game I could, like that I could play. And I put enough miles in it to where I pretty much got decent enough to where I could kind of keep the car on track, even though it would still be tiptoeing around. But I was at a point where I was getting acceptable results and stuff. But then I got after 2015, and then there was a GT Sport Day. And what did these two have to do with anything? Well, basically, I finally got, some racing games that are kind of like, they are sort of in the same category, and, physics that were not wanting to kill me every single time on the controller. F1 2015, steering input, throttle and brake input was so much smoother. And then GT Sport just really sank in all of that. So, in the, I want to say 4 months that I played the GT Sport beta, I basically forgot all about the tiptoeing and stuff that I had to do with Project Cars. So going back to it after playing the GT Sport beta it was just such a huge shock, and there was just no way I could go back and record gameplay from that after having such, after playing something where I could use a controller and, it wouldn't be such a nightmare just to try to navigate it. So, wonderful. So yeah, that's one reason. And then the second reason is that Project Cars 2 is coming out. And it just didn't make any sense for me to try to start a career mode on the first one when the second one came in. Now, you might say, you like apply this to Market 2 and you're going on with 2015 and 2017 is going on. But the thing is, those games have a year attached to them. So I could sort of get away with starting it on one game and then trying to catch up and stuff like that. Whereas with Project Cars and Project Cars 2, I couldn't do that. And then there's the fact again that the physics on the first game were just really unbearable. Whereas on the second game, at least for us controller users, it's supposedly so much better, so much easier, and stuff like that. And I'm just hoping that, I'm not asking for something super duper easy, but I'm asking for something that is just not impossible. Because for me, and I know I'm not the only one that thought this, Project Cars, the first one, it felt like Shift 2 all over again. Cars that were just, way, really strange to drive. The only difference is with Shift 2, even with a little steering input, the rear of the car was still going on, stuff like that. Whereas Project Cars, there was always this constant feeling, at least for me, that either I was ever turning the car enough or I was turning the car too much, scrubbing off speed. And then it just was so skittish. That's the only thing that's the old game shared, was that the cars were just too darn skittish and just didn't feel natural to drive. So hopefully Project Cars 2 has fixed that for controller users, and then it's better optimized and all that stuff like that. Because if it's basically a repeat of the first game, chances are I'm not going to come on it, and I'm probably going to refund it if I get it and I'm disappointed. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. That's what's going on with my channel, basically. Oh, and I almost forgot. On the subject of F1, not only am I going to finally start the F1 season, like I said I would, but I'm also doing my first list. No, my first top 10 list. And I know, obviously, doing top 10s, it's almost always going to end with some, dumb comments telling you how you left. Either you run out of ideas, or this is stupid, or, how people for some reason feel this need to, insult you like you've hurt them by not including their favorite on the list, or something like that. That's really silly. But I decided to do it because I really do love, a lot of the lists, and I will sort of say, wow, I'll do my own. So yeah, that's happening. Anyway, that's it for me. I will talk to you guys in the next video.